こんな立派なローストポークがなんちゃってローストポークだ
Welcome to Chronexia's Cookery! This is a brand new series that I decided I wanted to try my hands on. Cooking is something I'm really passionate about. I'm not the best, but I love to do it. And I decided to try my hands at Soma's first dish in Food Wars. It's a very beloved anime. It's called the Gacha Pork Roast. And it consists of mainly potatoes, some bacon, and some other slews of ingredients. We're going to show them to you in a little bit, and we'll see where we can go from there.
Let's first have a look at the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. Obviously, this is made with potatoes at their core, but it works great if you already have some leftover mashed potatoes in the fridge. Next is, of course, a pack of bacon, 3 tablespoons of butter, a full onion, some mushroom, a teaspoon of rosemary, parsley for the finishing touch, and some salt and pepper for taste. For the sauce, it's going to be a red wine reduction with soy sauce. And while the anime use sweet sake, I will be substituting the sake for 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Next, well, you gotta peel those potatoes. Depending on how many people you want to feed, I'd recommend between 6 or 7 white potatoes. Sorry, Caucasian potatoes. And then you go to town on these bad boys. Did you know the underside of the blade on a potato peeler is meant for coming back up while peeling? Here, check this out. Fancy, right? It'll get you some time to get used to do it like this, but once you're through slotting up your potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and slice them up. You wanna go for about 1 inches wide chunks. Anything smaller than that will load them with water and they'll lose some flavor. Anything bigger will just make the cooking time so much longer. Also, I guess this is a good time for proper knife etiquette. You always want to take the best knife for the job. For potatoes, I recommend a chef's knife. You want to start by pinching the bottom of the blade with your index finger and your thumb, and then you close down your remaining fingers on the handle. This will prevent the blade from twisting. Your other hand should be holding the ingredient in a claw-like fashion, and you balance the blade back and forth like a tiny guillotine. Don't hack away, it's much less precise, and it'll also wear out your blade sooner. 2 more important things. Always remember, a falling knife has no handle. Never try to catch one. If you drop it, you just get the fuck out of Dodge, like your dad when your mother told him she was pregnant again. And if you ever have a knife in your hand and there's someone in the vicinity, always make sure to tell them, "Nice to meet you." It's hilarious. It works every time, especially if you're cutting a protein. Now back to this recipe. I know the anime said they steam their potatoes, but I don't have a steamer, and it's just more efficient to boil them, so drown these punks like they owe you money and set them on the stove at high for about 20 minutes. That'll teach them not to mess with you. While the potatoes boil, we're gonna start working on our brunoise. Start by chopping an onion. Easy way to cut an onion, slice it in half, peel the outer layer off. Keep the stem and start from the top. You dice these bad boy like you roll a critical 20, and then you realize your camera is out of battery, so you have to store them for the rest of the day and come back tomorrow. That's why my outfit changed. Neato. Anyway, same thing with mushrooms. You make them into tiny cubes, and then you're ready to cook them. I like to add a dash of oil to the mix. A little more. It helps cooking more evenly. Heat up your oil on high and then add your onions and your mushrooms once it starts sizzling. You want to get a nice caramelization on those. Also, since this is all going in the potatoes later, I'll add a tablespoon of butter here and get them nice and ready. By now, your potatoes should have finished boiling, and you can check if they're ready by repeatedly stabbing them with a fork. If it goes through easily, you're done. Otherwise, make them an offer they can't refuse and set that fire back up another couple minutes. Once ready, drain the potatoes and we're gonna mash them. Now, a manlier man than me would tell you to use something like, I don't know, a mortar or whatever, but I got nothing to prove and we live in the 21st century, so I'm gonna use a beater, and you can judge me for it. Do not add any liquid to the mix, it will make them too frothy. Just go for that remaining tablespoon of butter, salt and pepper to taste, and then we'll add our brunoise to the mix, the mushroom and the onions. Keep the pan around, we'll need it later. Finally, add your teaspoon of fresh rosemary and mix together. Now this is the part where you'll have to wait for the mix to cool off. You won't be able to shape your roast until these are cold and hard. I was going for something dark. So I put mine in the fridge for about 30 minutes and it worked really well. So again, if you have some leftover mashed potatoes, you can already start from that step. Anyway, Once your potatoes are cool enough, you want to shape them in a big lump. For my sake, I decided to make 3 smaller ones in case one didn't turn out so well. Shape them like regular sized potatoes and lay your bacon down. You really want to make sure you wrap the potatoes as tightly as possible, otherwise once they'll start roasting, the potatoes are just gonna seep out everywhere once the bacon constrict. So get 2 layers of bacon if you need to get the job right, but adjust your cooking time accordingly. Once you got your beautiful creation, set them on a rimmed baking sheet. The bacon grease is gonna leak out everywhere otherwise, and put these pretty little girls in the oven at 375 Fahrenheit for 35 to 40 minutes. If you have a Celsius oven, I can help you figure it out. Make sure to carefully rotate them mid-roast so they can cook more evenly. And meanwhile, we are gonna move on to our sauce. In the pan which you use to make your brunoise, there should be a fond that is full of flavor and umami, so put that beast back on the stove at high flame and drop a cup of red wine into it. We're gonna make a reduction that's super easy and it'll blow your mind. Once your wine starts boiling, add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and another tablespoon of butter. Yes, again with the butter. It's not a healthy dish, you already knew that. Melt that butter and keep the flame on high until you've cooked most of the liquid out of the red wine while stirring often. Once it starts thickening to the point where you can make streaks in the pan like this, you got your sauce. It should take you about 10 minutes to make the sauce, so I recommend starting towards the end of the roast cooking time. Now it's... Jesus Christ. Now it's time to pull our chunky girls. There's one I completely messed up sealing properly, and this is what happens. It seeped out everywhere. The other 2 are much better, so now is the time for the plating. Add some parsley on top of it all. The anime used watercress, but excuse me, I couldn't go to my local swamp to find some. So parsley it is, and then you got the money shot. Look at that thumbnail material. Damn! Alright, let's give it a taste and see if it's as good as the anime makes it out to be.
So here I have the dish. I already took the first bite, and oh my god, is it good! I never expected it to be this delicious. First thing first, incredibly hot. I recommend being wary of that. The potato center is a very hot, but my god, is it good! Everything works so well. Got the earthiness of the mushroom. All the juice of the bacon seeps into the potato. It gives you that umami flavor. It's phenomenal. And the sauce on top of it, the brown sugar, it really gives that sweetness to the whole meal. It's delicious. It's very hot though. I recommend eating this after it cools off a little bit. But I can't put it down. I'm gonna eat the entire thing. It's delicious. We got a brand new addition to the channel. We got the join button now. So for people who decide to join there, it gives you a bunch of perks, but I'm also gonna give one for the people who want a step-by-step walkthrough of how to make this recipe and other recipes in the future if you'd like to know more about it. Otherwise, in the description down below, I'll tell you about the ingredients so you can try your own shot at it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you want to see more in the future. Otherwise, you can leave a comment, tell me which recipe you'd like me to tackle next, and I'll give it my best shot. Thank you so much for watching this, and as usual, I love you all times infinity. I'll see you next time.